Hi, thank you for watching this video. This is basically a quick video about my experience with TFL and the PCO licensing department. It's quite a long story, but I'm going to just talk about the bullet points and get to the basics. I've been up most of the night and I feel I have no choice but to make this video. If you're thinking of applying for a London PCO minicab license, that's fine, you can do that. But I would advise all people not to take the topographical test. You have a second option. The second option is to take the MVQ level 2 exam. This is an exam that's run by the MVQ exam body, and basically it's a minicab taxi course. And once you've taken this course, you're exempt from taking London's TFL topographical exam, which has a massive failure. They set you 6 routes to take to get from A to B. They try and tell you, try and be direct as possible. Take the most direct route possible. So basically, if I ask you to go from East London to Terminal 3, you then have to plot that route. Now you have a couple of choices. You can either go through central London, go down the Victoria Embankment, through Earl's Court, onto the A4, down the M4 to get to Terminals 1 to 3. Or from East London, you can take the North Circular, get onto the A4 from there, and then take the M4. Or you can go North Circular, M11, M25, and then get off at the M4. So you decide to take one of these choices and you plot the route. Then when they mark your exam, they fail you. When you ask why, they say, oh, we weren't happy with the route you've taken. You might have decided to take the M25 and the examiner wants you to take the A406 North Circular, so he's failed you and you're massively down marked. If the route was 15 points, you might end up only getting 2 or 3 points. Basically, I'm a person with 25 years experiencing in the minicab business. I've had 4 offices that I've run with my father: Dockland Car Services, Apollo Minicabs, New Heart Cars, and eventually iCars in Romford. So I've been driving for 20 years on top of a full-time job, very experienced, never had problems transporting people from A to B. Last year it was time to renew my license, so at the time I was looking after my father and my sister, who basically both had cancer and were dying. I got a letter from TFL saying they had not received my application to renew my license, and if I didn't want to renew the license, please can you send back your badge and your documentation, or to renew and get the application in ASAP. So I phoned them to explain. They said, no problem, you have several weeks yet, so please get your application in. So I decided to go to a local TFL approved test centre in Barking next to Wicks. I explained that I was a driver who already had a licence. I showed the girl my badge. I paid the fee. I submitted everything that I needed to do to get the application in, and basically I decided to get on with my life. A week later, I got a letter from TFL explaining that my application was incomplete. So obviously this came as a shock. So I decided to read on, and they said you basically have to take the topographical test. So I thought this was quite strange because I'm already a driver. I've taken the topographical test before, which is why I had the license in the first place. So I phoned them. I said, listen, I'm a driver that's renewing, but you're asking me to take this topographical test. Surely that's for new drivers only. All existing drivers are exempt from doing this exam. So it was an Indian Asian female that I was talking to her. I didn't take her name. So to cut a long story short, she decided after having a think, no, sorry, all drivers have to take this test. Whether you're new, whether you're renewing, old or new, you have to take this new topographical test. So I decided to take this young lady at her word. After taking the exam twice and failing it, and then asking more questions, talking to test centres around the M25, I discovered to my absolute shock and horror that I was exempt from taking the exam in the first place. I was never meant to take it because I already had it. And this is what I tried to tell TFL, but they said no. So after investigating everything, they came back to me and they said, right, we found out why you were asked to take the test. The TFL approved test centre in Barking incorrectly submitted my application. They put me in as a first-time driver and not as a renewing driver, which is why it led to TFL asking me to take the test. So I then spoke to Barking. Barking said, oh, no, we put a note on the system to say that you were renewing and that you weren't a first-time driver. TFL have said they're actually lying, and that's not the case. So they're both blaming each other, and I'm stuck in the middle. They did make one very good point, Barking. They said if we did incorrectly submit the application, when TFL got the application and they punched your details in, it should have straight away flagged up that you're already a PCO driver. You already hold a license. And TFL told me the only reason you've been asked to take the test is because of their mistake. So basically they're refusing to give me my license, and they're saying because mistakes have been made, basically tough luck, this is life, and you've demonstrated by taking the exam that you're not fit for purpose, and basically we can't give you the license until you pass this TFL topographical test. Now, as I said, there's an MVQ level 2 exam that you can take, and that has a very good pass rate. It's a much better course. But TFL are saying to me, if you go and take this exam and you pass, we will not accept your certificate. And I said, why? Because if you have that certificate and you've passed, you're exempt from taking the topographical test. It overrides it. They said, no, once you take the topographical, you have to stick to the topographical and you have to pass it. I've asked TFL to explain why they've got a massive failure rate on their topographical. The MVQ is a much harder level. It's a recognised examination body. So why is it people can go and pass this exam, the MVQ, but they go and take the topographical again and again and again, and they're being failed? I was told by several test centres that TFL have a quota. They only let a certain amount of people pass every month, and the rest of the people, they are failing deliberately. I spoke to an African lady at the licensing TFL department 2 weeks ago, and she told me on the phone, quite openly, that the topographical give them a list of names that people have passed and that they should be issued their license. She told me that we asked for certain exam papers to be retested, So basically they pick out names from the list, they look at the exams again, even though they've been passed. She said, we then fail them. I said, how can you fail someone that's passed already by the other department? She said, we do. We check, we're not happy, and we say, sorry, we're failing this person. And then we write to them and we say to them, sorry, you failed. This is shocking, shocking information. I can't believe she was telling me this. Absolutely gobsmacked. The topographical department passed this applicant. The licensing department asked to double check their paperwork and decide we're not happy and we're going to fail them. My advice to everyone who is thinking of taking the topographical test, please don't do it. It's designed to fail. The route planning is a get out of jail card for TFL to fail people. If I ask you to go from East London to Heathrow, you have 3 or 4 choices. If you don't pick the right one, they fail you and you don't get 60 plus points to pass, they will fail you. I know someone who's taken it 6 times now and he's given up. And this is a A-level degree educated British born person and he can't pass the topographical test. But he can go and take the MVQ test, which is 144 questions, study for 3-4 months, pass it, but TFL will say we refuse to accept his certificate. I'm now planning to take legal action against TFL and Barking for making mistakes which have led to me taking this topographical test when I didn't need to. I was actually exempt from taking it. And basically my advice is please, please, please don't take it. Take the MVQ. And I've heard last night from a test centre that TFL are planning to stop the MVQ exam and they don't want people taking that. So it's quite obvious they want to reduce the number of drivers on the road, so they're slowing the numbers down to basically stop people. So this is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get the message out to people through social media. If you're planning on becoming a minicab driver within the M25, do not take the topographical test. You have a second option. The option is to take the MVQ level 2 taxi and minicab license exam. I will try and put a link up to that course, or you can message me on YouTube and I can get the details to you. I hope this video is helpful to everyone out there, and my case is still ongoing because I'm going to take legal action. I've been told it could cost £50,000 to £100,000 going to High Court in order to get my licence back. Obviously I don't have that sort of money, so we'll keep posting videos to keep people updated. Thank you.